if you can, I'm gonna do single note bowls, and I want you to see which energies in your body you feel activated. If you can tune into those chakras, which one of those chakras do you feel resonating when I hit specific notes, okay? Notice the energies in your body. Each bowl is tuned to 432 hertz, so you're hearing the undertone of Om when I hit each of these bowls, if you listen carefully. Well, you heard it there, right? Thank you for taking time out of your busy, busy minds to be still and to receive. Good job. Next, I'm going to have my best friend come up here and share some amazing, heartfelt words and wisdom with you guys. We're going to leave these crystal babies up here to give him ample amount of space. Let's just keep going. So let's just keep going. Perfect. Great news, guys. We're going to continue. Like, what's time?
At 7:30, I'm going to do this intro, and then we'll do a 10-minute
Got it.
meditation.
Perfect.
And then you're going to play a little more.
Sweet.
Then you can pass.
Got it. Got it. What's time when you're here in a place like this, you guys? Like what's time? You know? We're going to continue. 4 more minutes. Everybody close your eyes.
Welcome, everybody. All the people on the broadcast, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, the Heart Center International Ascended Master website. It is said that sound and vibration created the universe. And the sound that created the universe was the Om sound. And the greatest expression of Om is the physical body, which is a direct manifestation of that emanation that occurred, that we all have. We are that sound. And when we hear that sound reflected in the bowls back to us, there is the inner memory, the spark of knowing that we are that holy vibration. When that realization occurs, there is a light from the higher mind of the person that the angels and the masters and the beings beyond time and space see, and they shower you with this divine frequency. It may feel like electricity. It may feel like a warmth. It may feel like hot fire. And that is where the joy is. Go deep into that. Go into that sound, into that feeling, into that visualization, into that knowing, and lose who you think you are and see exactly who you are. So we're going to have a short 10-minute meditation just to take in that sound, which is still so potent, so powerfully in this room. That there is that eternal memory, that remembrance we can tap into. Just silently pray with me in this opening prayer. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, infinite light, infinite joy, infinite presence, infinite vibration, all that and more beyond time and space. We invoke your presence. We open this door between heaven and earth. We open this understanding and we step into the fire of love. We step into the joy of vibration. We walk in the presence of pure, crystal, clear light.
Gently bring your consciousness back into your body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Great job. Welcome back. Do you guys like that? Yes. You guys did great. All right, this is a 2-segment dynamic duo event tonight.
Can you tell us which ones represent different chakras?
Absolutely. Well, if you need
I'm
to,
curious whether I you don't know where they were.
yeah, no worries. The cool part about these bowls is they're color coordinated. So the jig's up, right?
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? So we got root chakra right here.
What note is that?
See.
Correct. I don't know all the notes like that. I used to, but I don't anymore. So no more note. Don't ask me what a note is for. C. If anyone knows, feel free to chime in.
I think it is.
Yeah, okay. This bad boy, now I always get these two confused. So this is our third eye. This is indigo. Third eye is A. Solar plexus. Not sure. Sacral chakra, D for sure. It's for sure a D. Throat chakra, G. Thank you. And then my favorite, heart chakra, F. They're like, you're missing one. Yeah, my crown chakra baby's at home sleeping. I was like, we're not going to play any crown chakra songs today. So I have a purple one. It's really tiny, and it's for the crown chakra. It's at home sleeping. Any more questions when it comes to sound healing? Nikola Tesla has a famous quote that I'm about to butcher right now, but it goes along the lines of, once you understand frequency, sound, and vibration, the mysteries of the universe will be unfolded to you. So basically, you're going to have an upper hand on most people that don't even know the basics of our world, which is frequency, sound, light. All those things are vibrating. Everything's vibrating, which is so cool. But sound healing has really changed my life. If you guys want some more of this stuff, you can always catch me at Anybody's Massage. That's the name of my Instagram. Anybody's Massage, one word, play on words. Or Sounds by Sage is my Instagram for strictly sound healing. But Anybody's Massage, we do Reiki, crystal healing, sound healing, cupping, or massage all in the same session. So my higher self has kind of given me a name for that. It's called a full spectrum healing. And I'm also learning emotional body coding now to make that 6 modalities, one session. So yeah, I'm just honored to just be on earth, to give back and help heal and, remember, like all of us are coming to remembering, So it's just a journey for me to be here with you guys remembering, it's very cool. So I'm going to turn it over to my partner in shine. His name is Brother Dan. He's awesome. Anytime you see me, you're going to pretty much see this guy. And anytime you see this guy, you're going to pretty much see me. We've had this crazy friendship for over 8 years now. I met him 2 years after I became Reiki certified. And it was at a networking meeting, and I was networking my parents' IT company at the time. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to a networking meeting before, but they're cool. Like, they're super cool. A lot of people think they're old school or outdated, but for me, like, meeting someone face to face and telling them about your business and listening to them about their business it's very inspiring to see other entrepreneurs and stuff. So I met Brother Dan, and we were set up like a speed dating. It was a networking event, but it was set up like a speed dating Lollapalooza, where basically it's a room full of entrepreneurs. There's the control people that just sit, and then there's the rotators on the opposite side. So there's probably 50 of us in there, and Brother Dan and I were the last two. So on the last two speeding date, imagine the last two people. And I'm just looking at this guy, and there's just so much golden light. Just, I don't know if it was his hair or what was going on, but there was just so much light emanating from this being. And I was like, I wonder if anyone else sees this stuff. And I go, hey, we're the last ones. I go, this is the first thing that comes out of my mouth. I'm like, are you a light worker? He's like, what? I go, are you a light worker? I'll never forget. He's like, what's that? I'm like, like a light worker, like someone that came to earth, and basically you just uplift, and people come to you and they see a light in you, and they want to confide in you, and they trust you, and you're just the life of the party. Everywhere you go, you're always raising the vibe, and there's a light that follows you. And I go, is that you? And he goes, yeah, I think so. And I'm like, well, I know so, because when I see you, I'm literally seeing me. And I gave this guy a hug, a complete stranger, hugged this man out for like 10 seconds. And it was like when two people who agree to come back to earth to help make sure everyone makes it, you find someone that had the same mission that you do. I don't know if you've ever felt that connection, but it's awesome. It's like, yes, boom, let's go. It's imagine like when one of the Avengers meets another Avenger, and it's like, oh, we got a job to do. Protect the world from the evils. Like, that's literally what it felt like. It felt like I'd met another Avenger super friend, It was great. So without any further ado, I'm gonna bring up to you one of the highest vibrational beings I know. His name is Brother Dan. He's freaking awesome. All right, Dan, come on up.
Check. Is that right? Or is it the other way?
There's a pocket. Put it in the side behind you.
Hangs over your ears. It doesn't like head down. It hangs down the back.
Yeah,
Around the back?
Wrong side.
Oh, there we go. Over the ears or young?
Yeah, like that.
There we go. Nice. Like Backstreet Boys. All right. Okay.
Stand a little closer to your mouth. The microphone.
Check.
We're good.
Is it getting a little interference from this though?
No, we're good.
We're good? Thank you, my brother, Joseph. I thought I was going to tell that story, but he told it so much better than me. I remember at the end of that conversation, he looks at me, he says, "You're my brother." And I said, "You're my brother too." Like, this is the first time I've had those sort of like, "You're my brother too." And we knew it, and we've been hanging out ever since. And really, for me, and I think for him too, at that point in time, he saw a lot of light in me. I saw a lot of goodness in him, but really life was at a very low place for me. I had just moved into San Diego, was living at my sister's place. I don't even think I had a car. Money was an issue. And I realized over time I had negative beliefs about money and all these different things that I unraveled my mental body, my mental construct from a lot of lack that I learned through experience and from sources in life that kind of teach you those themes of separation and discord and those types of things. But we've helped each other raise our vibration and frequency a lot over the years. We've had amazing experiences, and somehow got us to a point where our vibration reached something like this, which is truly heaven on earth. And I see all these beautiful people around me. And really that's what I want to talk with you all about today, is really living divine truths, which is a practice that I've learned. And I've learned it specifically from Jesus, because back in 2020, I had some books start dropping in my mind when I was in Sedona in a place called Angel Valley. So for some of you who are hearing me for the first time, the book of love came through, and then about a month later, the book of light, and then the book of heaven, and then the book of life. And the book of life is the one that I'm going to read out of today. So raising our vibration to a point where I was able to unravel my mind of the habitual negativity and even drama, trauma, and chaos in the mind. But looking back at it, I think I was just perceiving drama and trauma and chaos versus what actually was. Because on a fundamental basis, life simply is. And that's a big theme of the book of life. That life is. Creation is. And we actually give meaning to life. We give meaning to our experiences. And when Joseph, I call him Joseph or Sage, when he was talking about the vibrations, energies, frequencies, our beliefs are part of that construct within our humanness and our human divinity. So living a life where we live in divine truths that are covered in the book of life, such as, well, and I'd like to say this. We all want the same things, and we're all part of the same team. And sometimes I've realized I need to look at things to really get it. I might learn it one way, learn it again from another perspective, learn it again and again and again. So this was a way that unraveled for me over the last month or so. I was like, we all want the same things. And if all of you can look around the room and just think to yourself, would you rather live a life filled with love and happiness and peace, or fear, doubt, and worry? How many of you want love? What about health? Would you like health or lack of health? Health, right? What about wealth? Would you like wealth and abundance or poverty? Wealth for everybody. What about wisdom? Wisdom or maybe clutter in the mind? Wisdom, right? And then what about freedom? Freedom or lack of freedom? We all want freedom. And it doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter the color of your skin. We all want the same things. And it's a way that I've been able to look at the world and just know it doesn't matter what politics are going on, all this made up make-believe illusion, that narrative. I know there's people all over the world who all want the same things as me. And when I believe and when we believe in anything, it'll come true for us. We can believe anything and have it come true. In fact, we already are believing in many, 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 many things that are just coming true. They're in our autopilot. And yeah, when I was living back at my sister's place, soon after I met Joseph, I started realizing my belief system. And I made a list of my beliefs. And I wrote all of them out. What happened was I went to LA for an acting job. I'm an actor, and that's part. I've got all this stuff going on. I've got these holy books coming through me. My acting career is still going. But I met these guys in LA, and one of them mentioned just doing a mind dump, write out all your beliefs, just write them all out. So I went home on a computer, and I said, what do I believe? And I just typed it. And it's like, God is love. Relationships are painful. Oh, okay. I grew up around that. And then it was like just writing these things out of what I believed Not necessarily the way I wanted to believe things, but what was running on my system. So in doing that, I reconstructed a lot of my belief system, and over time, living the divine truths of, I say those 5, but there's a few more. So it's love, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom for everybody. And it's also God's light, because you are the light of the world. It's also God's beauty and glory in every moment, because God only makes beautiful and glorious things. Period. Anything that we would have perceived other than that is a misperception of divine truth. We might have learned that it's an imperfect world, but as soon as we say, oh, it's an imperfect world, guess what? That belief in imperfection propagates imperfection. The belief works perfectly because God is the ultimate creator. God only makes perfection. So I'm just figuring this stuff out. So I've got some things to share with you to reinforce some of these things so we can live in the divine truths from day to day, because you all felt the vibration of the sage experience, I'll call it that, right? And the energy, and it flows. And a lot of you had your eyes closed. Living the divine truths is another step so that you live in that state of being, the state of being of the highest realms of the heavens, in every breath you take, in every move you make, everywhere you go, and in everything that you do. Everything you see, hear, touch, taste, and smell, all of it is love, light, beauty, glory, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom, and heaven, right here and right now, because everything is here and now. And I know this group knows that and lives that. For me, I've been practicing for the last year or so. Well, I've been raising my vibration consciously for about 10 years, but for the last year, really programming my physical senses to live from the state of being. And let's do a little exercise in here. And just pick something in the room that looks like it's something nice to look at. And just say, just quietly to yourself, I am beauty, seeing beauty. And let your thoughts relax. I am glory, seeing glory. And just let the thoughts relax and observe your experience. I am love, seeing love. I am love, hearing love. I am love, touching, tasting, even smelling love. Wait till you eat your next meal. The food tastes so much better when you are love, tasting love. Food already tastes amazing, but you end up living in your physical body, living the divine truths from moment to moment to moment. And I've had to practice this over and over and over again. It's like the Garden of Eden was always there. It's still there. The earth, the most beautiful paradise that we could ever imagine, and so much more, is here and now in this moment. The most beautiful moment in all of creation is this moment. It's in every moment. And then to get ourselves to, within our mental body, our mind, to perceive it that way. Because it is a perception. On a fundamental basis, like I was saying, life is. We see something, and then we give it meaning. But when we are more mindful and more masterful, and we say, life is beautiful and glorious, and that's a fact, Jack. I like to say, that's a fact, Jack, or Jacqueline. That's a fact. Life is beautiful and glorious, and I'm perceiving it that way, even amidst something that possibly a current version of yourself or a past version of yourself may have defined as drama, trauma, or chaos. But to look at it and observe it and know that even if it looks that way to your human eyes, Your divine eyes know that it's all light, it's all love, and maybe that's just an old pattern that's dissolving, that's washing away. You know, like the sins being washed away, the discordant behaviors, the discordant thought processes, discordant emotional patterns. Those sort of things are washed away, and life becomes more and more the life of our preference over time. So beautiful, so beautiful. So I want to share with you. So this is the book of life that I'll read some from, but I'll show you all these books. When I was in Sedona, they all came into my mind, and I was going to say way beyond me, but they're beyond what I could put together with my humanness. Jesus dropped these words into my mind. Exactly what happened is this book, when I first was able to hear that inner voice, I spent 6 months in Sedona in 2020 clearing my mind, spending time in nature, decluttering that mental body, being aware of things that would trigger me and knock me into negative emotion. Family members, friends, like all this stuff, politics, news. But to not react in that way kept me at peace. And I finally heard the books, and exactly the words of this were the Book of Love by Jesus the Christ, channeled by Daniel Prock. And I just thought, that's me. I know who Jesus is. But nothing like this has happened to me before in my life. And I didn't expect it to happen either. But I got the Book of Love, and then about a month later, just to show you all, the Book of Light. And then once I got back to La Jolla, got the Book of Heaven, and then the Book of Life. And after those 4 books, I realized I think I had gotten 2 little messages in Sedona before that. One is the Declaration of Heaven on Earth, and then the Great Awakening, a Revelation. And I'm almost done with another book, which is so good. It's the Constitution of the Kingdom of Heaven on Earth. It's basically the way individuals and societies operate within heaven on earth, God's kingdom. And I like to share this perspective because it's something that I've gathered over the last maybe 6 months or 3 months. I'd say we, because I think it's for all of us, are taught that we're small in a world that's big, that we're weak and others are strong, that there's powers and forces that are above us, and we're, you know, these little guys kind of battling or like working to get our part of life or whatever, you know, the movie themes that you come up with. But there's a higher level of all of us, an expanded version of all of us, which is, to me, way more true than my human limitations. I'm letting go of those things. We're all ascending beyond those things. That's what this group and collective is, ascending beyond the limitations that we learned of this world. But we're not of this world. We're of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. We're of the Divine Mother. We're of the Creator of all that is. And if you imagine the earth in the middle of this room, a globe spinning, just rotating beautifully, and you're seeing the earth from a perspective like you're in outer space, looking down. All nations and civilizations on planet Earth fall within the kingdom of God on earth. That's the way that's true. That's truth, as opposed to the way that I learned it, where these nations, governments they're all within the kingdom. They're all within your consciousness. They're all within our consciousness. So we have great power and influence to create what we believe. No matter what the news story says, we can sit here and say, I believe in unconditional love and I practice it, and we are unconditional love. And we are beauty, glory, love, light, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom. We operate from that construct. We help each other build that construct, and we're creating a civilization built on that construct. So those are just some additional perspectives for you. So I want to get a bit of myself out of the way and read some of the Book of Life. So basically, I'll read some from the Book of Life, and then, let's see, chat a little bit more. There are so many amazing affirmations and declarations in these books for the divine truths. So after I read part of the book and say a few things, we'll bring Joseph back up because he'll play the bowls and we'll do affirmations together to supercharge it, you know, to like use our voice. God said, let there be light, and there was infinite light everywhere. Infinite light. So a light that we comprehend travels at 186,000 miles per second. God's light is infinite light. Actually, I need to do this first. Okay. So this will just take about a minute. Y'all can close your eyes. It's a little mini meditation. So imagine the light of God in front of you, like the light of 1,000,000, billion, trillion suns. That is the light of God, which is what you are, and more. So imagine that light, and that light actually put in the center of your consciousness. And that ball of light starts to spin and rotates on one axis. And it spins at infinite speeds. That light, like the light of 1,000,000, billion, trillion suns, spinning at infinite speeds. And then the axis of that spinning sphere starts to rotate. And it rotates at infinite speeds. And it expands and it grows and it radiates and glows. And that is more of the true light of the world, which is the true light of God, which is what you are. Now know that in every cell of your body, I think there's trillion cells or more of your human body, every cell is that light. Every particle of every cell is that light. All the spaces between the particles and cells of your body, all the space is that pure light and infinitely more. And every breath you take, and every move you make, and everywhere you go, and everything you do in your life is that light of the world. And this whole earth is that light. This solar system, universe, all of creation is that same light. And from that state of being is how let me just say, it's a glorious place to live. So go ahead and open your eyes and practice seeing if you can stay in that state. Because the mind can start thinking and dancing and playing in good ways and who knows, sometimes others, right? See how to maintain that knowing, so we're living deeper in our heart and our soul than in our mind, okay? So I'm glad to share that with you, you bright, shiny, glorious people. Just whatever I can do to amplify the light in you, I want to do it. Okay, so the Book of Life, the color's gold. And this book comes through. Basically, I started getting this book, and it's like, it's almost like an email notification, but it's very subtle, and it's in my mind. So I'll know like the Book of Life, chapter 1. And then if I go walk on the beach, or sometimes when I'm exercising, I'm very clear, so it starts dropping in my mind if I'm at the beach running or something. So I can pause and read a couple lines coming through, and then I put this on my YouTube channel actually for this whole book. This whole book, original channel messages are on my YouTube channel under Daniel Prock. So in that, so I would just stop on the beach and just pull out my camera and say, hey guys, here we go. Got chapter 2 coming through, and I just record it right there. But I thought the book was done, and then a couple more segments started coming through, and there was the introduction to this book that was the final thing that came through my mind, and it is just precious. So I'm going to read that to you. So introduction. How y'all doing, by the way? Glorious. Introduction. Pure gold. Gold is an element or precious metal that you experience in or on your beautiful planet Earth, gold in its purest form is perceived to be more valuable, to have more worth in society, and to be more desirable. Gold has many characteristics and traits that are superior to other metals. Gold is non-corrosive. Gold is non-reactive, meaning gold does not react with other elements and materials, such as oxygen and water, that would cause other metals to rust, to become less than the way that God created them in their original pristine form. And as you become non-reactive to life, and you become someone who observes life and observes the ever-changing reality that you experience with your physical senses, with your eyes, your ears, your taste, your touch, and your smell, and you observe life with perceptions that align with your divinity and perspectives that align with God. And you imagine your life to be the beautiful oasis and paradise as God created for you in creating this beautiful planet Earth that you live in. God created this earth, this Garden of Eden, for you to dwell in, for you to experience, for you to enjoy, for you to love, for you to cherish. God made the external world around you as a gift for you to enjoy and to live your life to the fullest, to experience God's beauty in every moment, to experience God's glory in everything that you see, hear, touch, taste, and smell, to experience love beyond measure in this moment, and the next moment, and the next, to experience life in its purest form, in its perfect form, and experiencing life as God's masterpiece, both in the external world around you, as well as the life that you experience as you go within your consciousness, and you live in your heart and your soul, and you live from the core of your being, which is a place that is filled with peace, filled with the peace of God, which passes all human understanding. And when I say human understanding, I am speaking of the understanding of your human mental construct, before you may have read the words of the Book of Life, or the Book of Love, or the Book of Light, or the Book of Heaven. Because the words of all those books are reconditioning your program mental construct, the programming that you received of this world, that you were raised in, but you are not of this world. You are of God the Father Almighty, maker of the heavens and the earth, and of all of creation. And this is perfect, especially for everyone in this room. You should consider yourself to be more of the angelic realms than you are to be a human dwelling on earth. But you are having a very real experience as a human there on earth. So continue to go deeper within. As I said, deep within your heart, deep within your soul, deep within your consciousness, into the core of your being, into your divine blueprint, into the original plan for your consciousness, for your life on planet Earth, and for the original plan for the creation of you, the creation of your life. God created you with magnificence, with perfection, and with purity. And although this world has conditioned you in many ways, and within and through many of the control and power structures that are dissolving in this world, and for many of you, they have already disappeared. But for those of you that are hearing words like this for the first time, from your new permanent state of being, as being one with God's love, one with God's light, one with God's beauty, one with God's glory, and living all aspects of yourself as being the purity and the perfection of God in human form, you create your life as a masterpiece. And your life becomes like pure gold. Gold in its purest form. I'm getting chills, so it's good. Gold that remains in its purest form no matter what environment that it is placed in, within the typical reality that you live in. You are pure gold. And in being God's most radiant, brilliant, purest form of gold, gold that is infinitely more beautiful, radiant, valuable, worthy, pure, and glorified than the pure gold that is in the metal that you experience on earth, the pure gold that you are is infinitely more precious and valuable than what humans perceive to be the value of gold, the element of gold on earth. You are infinitely more valuable than pure gold. You are infinitely more valuable than the largest gold reserves that have yet to be discovered on planet Earth. You are infinitely more valuable, precious, beautiful, worthy, and magnificent than pure gold. Know that, be that, live that. Jesus is such a good writer. That's all I got to say. Living in that, knowing in every moment, then if we ever experience something, anything can happen. Maybe we have wounds in our mind, and those types of things. We could get triggered by different things in life, but to know we can come back to the present moment, come back to our heart, come back to our soul, breathe. A lot of times I breathe in. If someone watched me throughout the course of a day, there might be many times that I'm like, either breathing in deep, or sometimes I'm choosing love, light, and heaven, breathe it straight into my mind. I'm like, let me just breathe it up in there and just like clear the pipes and just keep doing that, because our thoughts are so powerful. And in the midst of something that looks like drama, trauma, or chaos, if we just observe and imagine a glorious, beautiful world with smiley, happy, friendly people everywhere we go, and cities of love and cities of light and cities that are exactly like heaven on earth, and the highest realms of the heavens is amazing and glorious as you can imagine it to be, all that exists. And when you think those beautiful thoughts and believe these beautiful divine truths and practice them, nothing can stop what our collective is believing and imagining and vibrationally being. Nothing can stop that from happening. And it's probably already happening for you all. And for me, it's probably each day I get further into it. I see the light glisten off your eyes. I wouldn't have noticed that before, but I noticed these things that are so fantastic. And gosh, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have just glossed over these things. But there's so much beauty in every moment. I know at this point I'm choosing it though. I'm choosing, and even going from a place where, because you might say, well, how can I get there? How could I get to heaven on earth if I've been bullied, if I'm being bullied, if I'm being disrespected, if I'm living in lack, if I'm living in less than, if there tends to be chaotic things and themes in my life, in my relationships, friendships. How can I get there? Maybe it seems like it's too far away. But if you think about this, do you know anyone who is a loving person? Do you know anyone who is healthy? Do you know anyone who's wealthy? Do you know anyone who's wise? Do you know anyone who's free? People are already doing it. I like to take something that seems like it's like, what is heaven on earth? It's love, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom for you and everybody. There's people already doing it, so let's simplify something that could be complex and say, we're just going to believe in love and health and wealth and wisdom and freedom, because that's how God made things. Health is, and I'll wrap things up with this. You are love. God is love. Everything is love. All aspects of your life and creation are love. Health is your original and natural state of being. In the pre-existence of the first cell of your body, in that divine planning of your consciousness, the purest health, wellness, magnificence, the ultimate planning and creation of your life. Health is our natural and original state. Although the world may teach us otherwise, letting go of those patterns of the world and living in that depth of our consciousness takes practice. And then wealth. Wealth is a permanent construct in creation. Human minds learn lack by trusting more in what they see with their eyes than in their imagination. When everything that we see around us, just look around your life. It was all imagined by someone, or someone, something, or you came from the invisible and became visible. So wealth is a permanent construct in creation. Wisdom, God's divine wisdom, knowledge, divine ideas, intuition, instincts, all that is flowing through us all the time. When our mind is calm, at peace, decluttered, we're able to follow that wisdom and always have it. It's always there. And then freedom. Freedom is our God-given birthright. Freedom is the expression of our soul. Freedom to choose our perceptions and perspectives, the way that we are perceiving life to be, and then defining life with the divine truths. My life is filled with love, light, beauty, glory, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom. I write that down in a journal probably 5 days a week. That's how I start my day. Today's date, I am living a beautiful life in a beautiful world filled with love, light, beauty, glory, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom. And then I'll add some stuff like in all my favorite things, and I might add a few extra details if I want some specific stuff to show up. But I end up creating more and more of that life over time. So I just want to encourage you to know that the divine truths are in every moment. Love, light, beauty, glory, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom are in every breath you take, every move you make, everywhere you go, and everything that you do. And even if it looks different than that with your human eyes, now you're able to see with your divine eyes, to see life the way God sees it. Because it's perfect and it's beautiful and magnificent. It's God's creation. And you being the greatest creator that God ever made, and being God's favorite and precious child and God's masterpiece, you are God's perfection made manifest in human form. I love you all very much. And I'm going to read some affirmations. Man, see, this is the highlight. Right here, this guy, who would have thought that we'd end up right, oh yeah. Kind of remarkable, I was going to say unbelievable, but remarkable is more like it. Okay, so within the book of life, there are beautiful sections, and I'll ask who wants, let's see here. So there are words of life and words of wisdom, words of love, words of light, words of beauty, words of glory, words of wealth, words of health, words of freedom. They're so good. I'm going to let you pick. What would y'all like me to do affirmations from? Was that the words of life and words of wisdom? Because it says words of, each of them say words of life and words of wisdom, words of life and words of health, because they're all words of life. These words help you create your life. Maybe I'll read the words of life and words of wisdom, because that's the first section in the book. Freedom? Okay. Okay. So we got some wisdom, got some freedom.
I like the red, white, and blue kind, but freedom.
You said light? Okay. So what we'll do is, let me see here, because each of these sections has, let's see. Okay. I'll read this part and then I'll go into the affirmations. Words of life and words of wisdom. These words of life are to be spoken, exclaimed, proclaimed, declared, and decreed over your life and over the world that you live in. These words of life are words of life. Your life, your reality, your world that you live in. Use these words of life to describe yourself, describe your world, describe your family, describe your relationships, describe your communities, your nations, your civilizations. Use these words to manifest your life, because your life is a masterpiece. Your life is God's greatest masterpiece, and the words that you use create that masterpiece. Use your words with power, with conviction, with force, with love, with God's force in your voice. And send that divine truth from the core of your being into all aspects of yourself, all aspects of your life, and your reality, and the world, and the glorious creation that you experience. Use your voice, your love, your light, your beauty, your perfection, your magnificence, and use these words of life to create your life as the masterpiece that God has always intended it to be. So good. Perfect, Lisa. Great choice, because that was the perfect intro for all of them. All right, so these are words of wisdom. All right, so I will speak the affirmation or declaration. I will speak it, and then y'all can repeat it. And we'll have Sage do his heavenly thing. Cool? All right, words of wisdom. I am God's wisdom.
I am God's wisdom.
I am God's wisdom experienced in every eternal moment.
I am God's wisdom experienced in every moment.
I am God's wisdom in divine ideas that transform nations and civilizations.
I am God's wisdom, idea that transforms nations.
I am God's wisdom in my thoughts,
I am God's wisdom in my thoughts,
beliefs, and subconscious programming.
beliefs, and subconscious programming.
I am God's wisdom
God's wisdom
that transmutes any discordant thought processes. I am God's wisdom that creates heaven on earth. I am God's wisdom that created the Garden of Eden. And it is self-sustained now and forevermore. I am God's wisdom that creates only perfection. I am God's wisdom in the creation of every cell of my perfect body. I am God's wisdom in every cell of my body and in the spaces between every cell of my perfect body. I am God's wisdom. I'll read one more. I am God's wisdom that creates masterpieces in everything that I see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. So there's a few more pages of this, actually 3 or 4 more pages. 5, 6. Yeah, you want to cleanse that mental body? This will do it for you. I'll read these books. I'll pick them up, I'd say 5 days a week. I pick them up, I'll reread them, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. Even though I've probably read it 20, 30 times while formatting it and putting it into the book. Always great words to keep my mind at peace, you know? I'm still going through my purification process, so it's beautiful. Okay, so freedom and then light. Was that the other requests? Okay. Words of life and words of freedom. Freedom is your divine birthright. Freedom is the expression of your soul. And as you express your true natural self in this life, you will experience the freedoms as God has always intended for you to have, for you to live, for you to be, and for you to experience in this life. From your soul's perspective and your infinite perspective, you are free, you are liberated, you are eternal. But from your human conditioned perspectives and conditioned mental construct, you experience something less than freedom. You experience a world where certain forces in this world have conditioned you to think that you are free, but impose numerous limitations on your life, on your affairs, in your communities, and in your societies. Those forces have conditioned you under the guise of freedom, but also with the social structures that are far less than free. But as you express your soul and you anchor yourself into your divinity, into the Christ within you, into your divine blueprint, into God's perfection, which is what you are, you release the limitations that you have learned, the restrictions that have been imposed upon you, and your life, and your affairs, and your families, and your businesses, and in numerous other ways. You release all of that, and you realize that you have always been free. And what I mean is that you have always been free to choose the way that you define or give meaning to any situation, experience, or occasion of your life. Please remember, and remember again and again, that life is. Life simply is, and you give meaning to life. You define your life. And when you define your life the way that God the Father Almighty defines you, and defines this beautiful paradise, this literal Garden of Eden, this glorious planet Earth as perfect, as glorified, as God's beauty made manifest, as heaven right here on earth, as the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven, which is what you are, and the heavenly realms, which are what you are, and heaven and earth are unified into one glorious, spectacularly beautiful, and magnificent present moment in all aspects of your body, mind, spirit, soul, divinity, and expanding into your entire physical world, where everything you see, hear, touch, taste, and smell becomes what it has always been, an absolute masterpiece. God only makes perfect things. God only makes glorious things. God has given you freedom to choose. There's a few more pages there, but I'll go on to affirmations now. Okay. So these are words of freedom. So we'll do this the same way. I'll say it and then you repeat it. I am freedom, given as my divine birthright. I am freedom as my soul's purest expression. I am freedom releasing the limited conditioning of my mental body. I am freedom in my thoughts and actions. I am freedom as I speak boldly about God's glory in my life. I am freedom liberating nations and civilizations. I am God's freedom as all nations come together to uplift all other nations. I am freedom expressing my gifts in this world. I am freedom experienced as I express unconditional love for someone I have never met before. I am freedom in its purest perfection. I am freedom in the masterpiece of my life. I am freedom given as my divine birthright. I am free. I am free. I am that I am. I am that I am. Beautiful. There's much more in that segment. I skipped through some of it.
Brother Dan, we have a request for glory.
Oh, okay, all right. So I'll just go straight into Michaela. Excellent. All right, so I'll just do a couple pages of light, and then we'll just roll right into a couple pages of glory. If any other special requests out there, let me know, but okay, so light. Okay, words of light. I am God's light. I am God's infinite light, and it is eternally self-sustained. I am the light like a million, billion, trillion suns. I am God's light that glorifies God in the highest. I am God's light in its purest perfection. I am God's light that transmutes perceived darkness. I am God's light in the hearts and minds of all of God's people. I am God's light in the leaders of every nation. I am God's light in every civilization. I am God's light at the core of my being. I am God's light at the core of my knowing. I am God's light in my heart, mind, and soul. I am God's glorious light made manifest in my human body. I am God's light in human form. I am that I am. Awesome. Good, yes. I am awesome. All right. I don't think Jesus used awesome in any of these books. I think glory is kind of similar, though. All right. Glory 185. Okay, words of glory. I am God's glory made manifest. I am God's glory made manifest in human form. I am God's glory made manifest in every cell of my perfect body. I am God's glory in the creation of the first cell of my perfect body. I am God's glory in the divine blueprint as He manifested my life. I am God's glory as seen in a beautiful sunset. I am God's glory in every moment of creation. I am God's glory in every moment that I make, I am God's glory in every move that I make, and every breath that I take. I am God's glory as experienced in the laughter amongst groups of friends. I am God's glory in all my perceptions. I am God's glory in all my perspectives. I am God's glory in my heart, mind, spirit, and soul. I am God's glory as I experience the masterpiece of my life. I am that I am. So each of those sections probably has 3 or 4 times as many of those affirmations and declarations, and they all have these subtle but very powerful nuances, perspectives, perceptions, physical senses, physical world around us, nations, civilizations. Every part of creation is the way God made it to be. It truly is fundamentally, but we get to define it and make it the glory of God, the beauty of God, and amplify that truth. I know the way that I see the world now, it's so much more beautiful. Even that light, it's like photons going. It would have just been a bright light in my face 3 years ago on the set, you know? It's like, oh, that light's kind of bright. Now it's like, wow, look at that amazement. And to be able to experience that, now knowing that it was always there for me to experience it, every day of my life, I could have perceived in that way, but it took me years to let go of the conditioning. You know, the forces that have us think that my basketball team in 6th grade was against the other school's basketball team and F them. You know, it's like, come on, you know, like, but learning those things early, that's us versus them. Let's not just play basketball against them. Let's be enemies with that other sports team every day of the year. We didn't even know who went to that school. But, you know, it's like the stuff starts early, and to let it go, layer by layer by layer, and then now it's the present moment. We all want the same things. We're all part of the same thing, and we all are living in something beautiful and glorious because God only makes beautiful and glorious things. So I'm just very happy that you're here tonight. I feel blessed and honored. Dennis set me up with appropriate wardrobe. I was wearing something not this great, that's for sure. I was wearing something new walking in the door. He's like, I got something for you. And then he adds this, and I'm like, only God knew. I had no idea, but I feel great, and I feel great to share a higher vibration, or what I can do through my words to help people shift their perspectives to see the beauty and glory in every moment. Because when we're all seeing life that way, which has taken practice for me, but we all truly, we might believe in subtle different things. We might have different preferences, but we all want love, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom. We do. So ignore the other, you know, nonsense, the other narratives. Your narrative matters. The way you describe life as being. This is the new normal. Love, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom for everybody. That's the new normal. And then you amplify that with the Christ and go, you know, angels and archangels, shining love and light on everything, including all of us, simultaneously. We're uplifting the whole earth by being here. So thank you so much for being here. I love you very much. All the books of Heaven on Earth, for the audience out there, they're at danielproc.com/books and also on amazon.com. So you can get the paperbacks or ebooks. When you go to my YouTube channel, just search Daniel Proc. You can get the audiobook for the Book of Love in my resonant voice. I made one audiobook for one of the books. So you can get that for free on my YouTube channel, or if you want to, it's on Audible too, if you want to spend a few bucks, if you like to listen on there. And I also have books here in the room. If you want any of them, you can get them for me. They're on from me. They're on the table. I thank Sage for being my brother, my partner in Shine. It's so great, buddy. God loves us so much, and somehow has brought us together, brought all of us together. It just keeps happening. So let's just make this our life. Expand this gloriousness, happiness, friendliness. That's pretty much what I've got time for. Like how wonderful and beautiful can it be? Every day, every moment, let's do that. Fun, laughter, good times with your friends. Let's do that. And just expand in that. Let those old stories and patterns, it's like ancient history, like 100,000 years ago on some distant planet, they lived like that. Not in our civilization anymore, because we decide by what we believe from the inside. That vibration of our belief is a construct within us that we send out, and is part of our creation of our reality. Imagine beautiful things, feel wonderful and elated, and believe life is the way that you want it to be. And fill it with the divine truths. Love, light, beauty, glory, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom in every moment. And that's heaven on earth. Thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you all for being here. I love you. God bless you.
I just like to make a quick announcement, very quick. We are having a wonderful thing here on Easter, which is April 17th this year. It's a Sunday, right? From 10 to noon. David Christopher Lewis is going to come in. He's going to speak. It's an Easter service with Jesus. He's a clairaudient, and he will speak Jesus' words to us for a couple of hours, and then we'll have a nice potluck lunch. And I invite you all to come. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I hope all of you come. I hope to see you here.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Brother Dan and Sage, for coming. You guys are so enthusiastic. It's contagious. And,
Love you,
I love to see the young people who've got lit, who got the fire.
It's lit.
You guys are, remind me of me when I was,
Not so long ago.
like not so long ago.
Last
In the recent
night,
history, but it's just so refreshing to know that this light that we have been churning, all of us, is now we hand it off to this next generation, and they hand it off to the next generation. The world is going to be in good shape. I feel very happy. These new ideas that are these old ideas that are new ideas with new perspectives, new twists, new light on them. It's just a wonderful thing, and I really appreciate you, my brother. I love your light and your joy. You too, Sage, you bring it in. And for those of you online, I posted Daniel's YouTube channel, so you can take a look at that. Look that up. You have a website also?
Yeah,
Instagram?
DanielProc.com is the website, and Instagram's under I Love Brother Dan.
I love Brother Dan.
My friends have been calling me Brother Dan as a funny nickname since college, and it's kind of great how it happened. My younger brother was in the same house in college as I was, and he's 3 years younger, and he would say to his buddy Jason, I need to call my brother Dan, or let's go meet up with my brother Dan, or let's go. And Jason's like, why do you call him your brother Dan? We all know he's your brother. And then Jason comes up to me one day and he's like, hey, Brother Dan, how's it going, Brother Dan? And he talked like that. It's pretty close. And it just kind of stuck as a joke. But then I became Brother Dan to all my brother's friends, and all my friends started calling all of my brothers, Brother Dave and Brother Dean and Brother Josh and Brother Matt. So it's like this friends of family stuff. So that's how it started, but somehow this is another version of Brother Dan.
So, I just want to mention also that this fact that there is progressive revelation. Jesus is still talking to people. He's talking to you. He's talking to me. He's talking to everyone in this new light, and this new joy, and this new glory and freedom. And light, health is coming in and it has a new shine to it. And I love that. So it's not the same old stuff being regurgitated. It's something new, something beautiful. God bless you, everyone on the broadcast. We're going to sign off now. Buy one of Dan's books. He'll sign it for you. And we'll be broadcasting tomorrow for the Divine Mother Worship Service. It's going to be hot tomorrow. Barry is going to come. The osteopath, the lady does the massages. So God bless you, everyone, and good night.